here. You're welcome once again to another episode of Questions About God. I'm Mr. Wiser. I trust that the last episode has been, very awesome, has answered, questions, has, given you some level of enlightenment and information that is much needed in this world at this time. I want to use this opportunity to thank everyone that sent comments, that sent questions, that, sent, their feedback about, the last episode that we had. And, it's good to know that, this program, this series is already living up to its expectation, and just expect much more. And I know that at the end of this series, you will be more enlightened about God and will be able to understand certain things, and even our world will be much better, because knowledge can inform, and information and transform. So to the question that we have today, the question is, did God order in ancient times? You see, this question is a question that, has made some people even lose their trust in God. This question is a question that has made some people leave, the Christian faith, to just become atheists. This is a question that many people have been trying to ask, but they kind of find it a bit difficult. Some people have given some explanations that, well, God did order the killings because, in those days it was the conquest era and killings were, the norm of the day. Some say even stuff like, God lives in dispensation. So at that dispensation, he could allow certain things. But this is what we need to understand. If all belief systems, most belief systems or most religions believe that God, he doesn't change, his nature is constant and he is omniscience, omnipresent, then why will we think that his nature changes with us? Are we the ones to determine the behavior of God? Is our civilization to determine how God's character is? I don't think that's a good enough answer to such questions, because if you say that at a certain time God could order the killings of innocent children, he could order genocides of countries, then what you are saying is that even in the future he could still order it. Now to try and make this even more, to make even this more endearing to you, picture this now. Could you picture God right now telling you to go into a neighborhood, probably because he says he wants you to propagate the faith that you believe or your own religious sect, and before you could do anything he orders you and says you should go and wipe out that entire community? I'm sure you thinking of it now, you would picture that no, God can't do such a thing. Now if God can't do such a thing now, that means God never did such a thing then. But to understand and to answer this question properly, we need to understand something I said in the last video. God is not tribal. He is the creator of all things. Therefore, he is the God over all things. And like I said in the last video, you see, religion's attempt or religious theology of God is like you viewing space through a telescope. And the position where you are will determine the part of space that you can see. Also, the quality and the strength of the mirrors in the telescope will determine the kind of imagery and the kind of depth of image that you can see from the telescope. And now, what is a mirror? A mirror is a reflection. You see, unfortunately, most people's ancient account of God has always had personal prejudices. There has always been a part of man that man has used to interpret certain things about God. I give you a good example. For example, if you grew up and you lived with your parents, and your father was was authoritative and was always spanking you anytime you made any mistake, was always beating you up, was always locking you up in the room, giving you curfew, telling you he's not going to pay your school fees and all that, and you needed to beg him once you have offended before he could even listen to you at all, that might affect your theology of God. You might think that God also is that way, that God also is always quick to beat you whenever you mess up, and that until you beg him, he will not answer certain questions. I mean, he won't answer your prayers, or he won't do certain things for you. But I need to quickly say this one more time. God is not tribal. And if he's not tribal, that means that he will not destroy or ask for the execution of a tribe or a nation just to preserve another nation. If God is God over all, then God will never order the killings of any race, of any tribe, of any nation. Every or most religious sects believe in the universal love of God. Islam believes that God is merciful. Judaism believes that his mercy endures forever. Buddhism believes that we all carry the universal love. And Hinduism also believes that the supreme God, Brahman, is also a loving God. Zoroastrianism believes that, the God, Hahaza Mazda, is the one that created all good things and is interested in the welfare of men. So most belief systems, most religions believe that God is a God of love. Now, how can a God who is a God of love become a God who is a God of killing? Some will now say, no, what are you talking about? What about what happened in the Old Testament? Now talking about Christianity in the Bible. Now, the first thing I need you to understand is this. Like I said about the stethoscope, the place in which you are viewing space will determine what you see. Now, you need to realize and understand that the Old Testament was written by people or a nation who was always experiencing oppression, who was always experiencing things that needed a God that will save them. All throughout Israel's history, even till now, they have always been, a country that has been under attack by other nations. So in essence, the only kind of God they could relate to is a God that will fight for them, is a God that will liberate them, is a God that will be a God of retributive justice, a God that will set them free. This is why, you hear the psalmist, you hear many people say, oh Lord, come and deliver me, destroy me from my enemy. Destroy my enemies, deliver me from my enemies. Oh, come and fight for me and all that and all that. But that can't be all that is about God. This is even the reason why I want to put it to you. Can you picture an Egyptian or somebody from Assyria, from other nations, reading the Old Testament? I'm not sure they will come to love Yahweh, because they will see Yahweh as a Yahweh or a God that only loves Israel and will do anything to destroy Israel. Another thing we need to also understand is this. The knowledge that we even had about the way our planet operates was very limited at that time. And anything that happens, they're always saying it's the gods or it's God that caused it. But now let's even look at this Old Testament about the killings. Now, why do I know God is not a tribal God and he's not even a killer God? Picture this. According to the Old Testament Judaism, God created man and he named him Adam, and he had a wife also who was Eve. And they messed up. They did something God didn't ask them to do, and God got angry and God pushed them out of the garden. You would have expected that if really God was upset, at least this is the first sin, he should have killed Adam and Eve and probably started, the human race all over again. Why did he not kill? God is a God of life. God is not the God of death. Even in the scriptures, it is written that he does not wish that any sinner should perish. And just let's continue. Now let's also look at Cain, according to the Old Testament. This was a guy who was the first to kill a fellow human. At least in human standard, if you kill a person, you deserve also to die. But we need to understand that God is not a man. Why didn't God kill Cain? At least he deserved it. In fact, Cain had the audacity to ask God for a favor. He didn't want other people to kill him, and he asked God to put a mark on his head, and God answered his plea. Do you see what is going on here? And I want to even sincerely ask you, have there not been things that you in your growth or in your spirituality, there are things many times that you felt it was God that was telling you to do it, only for you to discover that it was your own selfish interest, or for you to discover that it was just you? But let's go on. I hear somebody already saying no, but if God doesn't destroy, if God doesn't kill, tribes and all that, why did he, wipe out the whole human race with Noah? Now that's a very interesting question. Now I'll give us more proof, but let me even stay with the Old Testament. Now, if God really wanted to kill humanity, why will he ask, according to the Old Testament, why will he ask Noah to build an ark and for 100 years tell the people to come into the ark? And after telling them to come into the ark, if they came into the ark, they would have been saved. If he really wanted them dead, if he really wanted tribes dead, if he really wanted to kill the human race, he would not have left that option. It was actually the refusal of the people to enter into the ark, it was shut, that killed them, not God killing them. Now I notice we even understand something about our world. Our world lives in circles. Our world has a circle, like for example, why do we have water today? There's rain. After rain comes sun. After sun, the water goes back up. Now, for our planet to continue in the way it is, there are certain things that have to happen. For example, there are things we call tectonic plates, that the movement of these plates can lead to volcanic eruptions, and these volcanic eruptions can later lead to hurricanes, and these hurricanes, can later lead to so many things. But you see, without volcanic eruptions, there will not be enough carbon in the air that will make this earth livable. So many of the things we even think that the judgment of God are actually things that make this planet the way it is. Now, why did I give us this fact? You see, an earlier account, in fact, Hinduist account about Noah is quite interesting. The account they have says that a man called Manu went on meditation, and he went for meditation for some years and discovered that there was a time where the earth was going to be submerged by water, because it was inevitable, more like a climate change kind of thing. It was inevitable. And in his quest to save humanity, he started praying to the god Brahman. And after praying to Brahman after some years appeared to him and asked him why he was praying, and he explained to him the incoming natural disaster that was happening. And Manu gave him and told him, okay, why do you want this? He said he wants to preserve humanity and he wants to preserve mankind. And Manu gave him the template on how to build an ark that will save humanity from the incoming destruction. So according to this account, the flood wasn't a judgment. The flood actually was a natural circle in the earth, and God actually intervened to prevent man from extinction. You see, the problem we have with many accounts of things that happen is that there is always a room for human prejudices. I know you are also asking, okay, what happened in Egypt? Did God not kill the firstborns? Did he not send hail? Did he not send all those things to destroy the people in Egypt? Now the thing you need to understand is this: the account that Israel gave is that God destroyed the firstborns and that even Pharaoh drowned in the sea. But unfortunately, historically, there was no death of a Pharaoh. And even according to Egypt's account, there was no death. Now, am I saying that they made that story up? That's not what I mean. What might have happened is, anyone that wants to tell a tale or a story will always say it in a way that will favor their own cause and their own ideology. So I need you to understand something, that God will never order the killings of anyone. Why? And I'll still use an Old Testament and give you more accounts. Now, you could imagine this. Naaman was a military general that had killed many Israelites. He had won many wars, had killed many Israelites. Why will God heal him of his leprosy if really God was a God that was tribal? Why also will he send a prophet to the widow of Zarephath? Hope you know she was hidden, because according to Israel's belief, God has no business with other people as long as they are not Israelis. Why then did he send the prophet to heal, to go and make sure that that woman did not die. You see, you need to understand that the totality of God is love. And in love, there is no death, because love is even stronger than death. God will never order the killings of anyone. For example, some will say, but he asked Abraham to kill Isaac. If he really asked Abraham to kill Isaac, why then was a goat there? Why didn't he go ahead to do it? You see, you need to understand history. And many of the things we read in the Bible, we need to understand the historical basis of it. Abraham lived in a world in Mesopotamia where children sacrifices to gods was a common thing. And I believe what must have happened is that somewhere along the line, there might have been a thought that came to him that, since he has been believing God, his faith in God is based on something God did for him, which he had been believing him to do, which is, Isaac. And somewhere along the line, he believed that God must have told him that he should go and kill his own son. But if God really ordered him to do it, why didn't God make sure that he finishes the job? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I put this to you. God will never order the killings of anyone. Every religion, everyone in their journey, including Buddhism at a time, had killed people, and even Christianity had killed people who did not believe in their faith. I am here and I'm telling you categorically, God never ordered such killings. If he's God over America, if he's God over Iran, if he's God over Nigeria, if he's God over Japan, then he will not take sides with one nation to destroy another. Our God is a universal God, and he is love, and there is no evil in him at all. Any evil you see people perpetrating in the name of God, it is just the heart and the state of the wickedness in the heart of men that is being revealed, not God. Now, I know some of the things I've said today might be a bit harsh, or might be a bit, harsh. But I need you to think about this and probably watch the video over and over again and just get some wisdom from what I have said. I'm Mr. Wiser, by the way, and you can also still send comments. I'll be happy to hear from you at I am Mr. Wiser, and you can send me an email at iamMrWiser@gmail.com. Till I see you again next time. Remember, our God is universal and he loves everyone. Become wiser. God bless you.